to sleep at this time. Hey, welcome to Living in the Light, and I'm Mary Amy, and I'm all about shifting away darkness, guiding you to your true potential, and cracking open that beautiful glowing light in your heart. Welcome to the fifth dimension. Here we are together because we've climbed out of the matrix and we've realized that there's another reality, another belief system out there. And more of us are becoming awakened. Thank you so much. It looks like, oh, hey, Bob Harding and Joe Hollywood. Let's see, I got some messages here, and you are all so patient with me, and I'm so grateful for that. I'm in New York, coming live. I'm 45 minutes outside of New York, and I come here, and what I do is I offer some helpful suggestions, some healing suggestions, some ways to activate your clear senses and to turn inward. And I believe it's more important for us because we are the DNA. You are the gold. Your DNA is the gold. It's more important for you to turn inward and realize who you are, because that's the only thing you can really control. Out here in the physical reality, the outer world, you have no control over that. And how do we change our outer world is by transforming ourselves. So let's see, Joel Hollywood. Sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Solar flash on the. You're mentioning the solar flash. I haven't heard from you in a while, Joel Hollywood. Revelation event. It will change the entire surface. Will bring superhero. Wow. Well, thank you so much for those comments. Anyone who's joining us, I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Tonight, we're going to cover some topics like the new banking system. Are the banks collapsing? Are we prepared for that? Should we be worried or concerned, have anxiety? I think not. We're going to cover thieves of the galaxy. Have there been those beings, entities, off-planet, extraterrestrials that have been stealing from us and stealing from other planets? And I'm going to get into the laws of nature. Of course, we're going to cover psychic phenomenon, and we're going to try to help bring you your abilities forward, because we all have these abilities within us and we can activate them. You don't have to be born a psychic or a clairvoyant. You can actually access this through practice and exercises. And I know that we've all been going through quite a bit of change lately. I don't know how you felt in the last few days, but I've experienced, because of these full moons, some really strange sleep patterns. And I was not, hey, thank you, Cags. Thank you. Oh, trying to see what that says. Oh, by the way, something really funny happened to me. I shouldn't say funny, haha. I should say funny, strange. I went to the eye doctor, and I hadn't been to the eye doctor in over a year. And I wear contact lenses and glasses, and then I tend to wear even glasses with my contact lenses. So I found out last week that my vision has improved, so I don't even need glasses anymore. I just wear my contact lenses, which is kind of exciting, so I can read everything in the chat right from here. I don't know. So my prescription was actually too much for my vision. So things were blurry and I didn't realize. I also am going to mention angels, because angels are beings of light. So before I get into the first topic, I'm going to mention the three suggestions that I have. One is to keep track of your sleeping dreams. Your sleeping dreams will help guide you. Now, last night, I definitely had some activation, and I've spoken about the awakening. Have you had a Kundalini awakening, or have you had some kind of spiritual or mystical awakening, or have you just awakened and realized that we've been living in this three-dimensional world, this matrix that has been keeping us from being ourselves? We weren't really allowed to feel everything we wanted to feel. Maybe as a child, you were told, Shh, okay, that's too much emotion. Here, take a pill or go stand over there. We don't really want to see that. And that wasn't how we were feeling. We weren't allowed to express ourselves because maybe it was embarrassing. So we held that in and we were told, you know what? Keep that side of you away from everyone. And what did we do? We covered ourselves and we were not allowed to embrace all the sides of ourselves. And I always say that self-love is the most important thing for you to experience, because if you don't love yourself, then you can't love others. And how does that begin? Self-love begins by turning inward. And we're going to do an exercise about that. But back to the awakening. Have you awakened? Are you ascending to another dimension, to the fifth dimension? Because I think I'm in the fifth dimension. I've awakened. So I mention your dreams. Write down your sleeping dreams. Last night, I definitely had some activations. I had some premonition dreams and some predictions. And it matters right now because more light is coming onto the earth. There's definitely a shift. Like Joe Hollywood says in the chat, he's speaking about the solar flash. Is that going to be the event? Or is the event going to be that the whole entire globe, all of the world, is going to activate and realize that we've been living in enslavement on this planet Earth? That's poor Elsa. What is she doing? She drank too fast. Elsa, are you okay? Oh my goodness. You okay? She drank too fast. And have you been receiving any kind of guidance or forewarning? Your dreams can help maybe predict an event that's going to happen, or it might be telling you, hey, why don't you try that opportunity? You might be good at writing a book or skiing down a mountain or falling in love. Something in your dreams will give you a nudge in a certain direction, so pay attention. It will help you connect with your inner world. And if you are connected with your inner world, you will start to experience synchronicity. And synchronicity is when events that have nothing to do with each other collide very strangely. Like, for example, personal story. I was at my job in the Matrix yesterday, and I had this feeling to go from one of the stores that I work at to the other. And I just grabbed this garment and carried it to the other store. And I don't know why. And as I walked in, this woman said, "That's mine. I left it here the other day." Now, I didn't know she was there. So that was synchronicity. And that was an indication and a validation that I am on the right path. The more clear you become, the more synchronicity will happen to you. Okay, and maybe you're not going to receive any evidence about some of this clair senses and some of this psychic phenomenon, and maybe your dreams. Maybe there's no evidence except what you feel within you, what's going on within your mind, within your heart, within your spirit. Okay, so dreams, your intention matters, because if you have a good intention, you can change the outcome. Just like your thoughts are very powerful. I was speaking to someone yesterday, and they kept saying over and over these negative remarks about themselves. Well, it's not going to happen. It's never going to work out. And I said, well, you're actually making it happen by saying that. You're going to manifest it not to work out. So my suggestion is just try being positive. Just try being optimistic, because you can control your thoughts. You can wake up tomorrow morning. By the way, today's the 28th of November. We're headed into the month of December. We had a full moon. I don't know if we had a full moon last week. We had a full moon the night before. So it's definitely affecting all of us. You can wake up tomorrow morning and have a plan for your first thought, and it can change your whole entire day. So your intention, your dreams, and your thoughts are very powerful. Anyone who would like to join in the chat, write something down. If you like the video, I hope you subscribe. By the way, I did do a video interview the other day, and it was if you look on YouTube, I got to be a guest on the 100th episode, and it was with, oh my goodness, what's her name? She is someone who is an expert at remote viewing. And it was the 100th episode of Flying Chariot, The Rise. If you search on YouTube, you will find the video. And it was really cute. It was fun. We spoke about telepathy and Bigfoot, because you know that I love Bigfoot. I love to talk about Bigfoot. And we also spoke about remote viewing. Okay, so the first topic today is all about the banks. Are we going to have some kind of financial collapse? Are there indications of it? So strangely enough, I decided on these topics yesterday. And here we go with some synchronicity. Today, there were a few mainstream media articles related to big bank closures. And this is a little diagram, and it shows how all the banks are connected, if you can see that. So apparently, there have been, in 1 week, 64 US banks that have closed. In 1 week, 64 bank branches, I should say, not the actual entity of the bank. So the bank branches where you go in and maybe you go to an ATM. I have a few of them in my town. Most everyone has them in their towns, in their cities. And I'll go through really quickly, and then we'll get on to what I believe is going to happen, or what is the premise behind this indication of these bank closures. So PNC Bank, JP Morgan, Chase, Citizens Bank, Bank of America all had closing branch locations in December. And I'll go through some of them. So PNC had 19 branches. I'm not saying December, November I meant, sorry. PNC, 19 branches. I'm really skipping to December. I can't wait for December. What about you? It's the holiday month. It's coming up. When is it? Is it Saturday? I believe so. JP Morgan, 18 filings of bank closures. Citizen Bank, 18 branch closures. Bank of America, 5 filings, which means that they're in the works. So is a new banking system coming forward? Way forward. And what is that going to be? Is that going to be the quantum financial system? Maybe. Chase Bank, 14 branches. Wells Fargo, 300 this year. So let's start to believe that this is a possibility, that we're going to undergo some kind of banking change, which means, from what I've heard, they're going to become wealth management centers rather than banks as we've had in the past, since I think it's 1974 when Nixon changed over the gold, no more gold-backed currency. There is this, how do I say it? There is this change that is bringing forward what's called Basel III, which is international standards for bank capital requirements, which means that the bank has to have a certain amount of money in the bank. They can't just throw these numbers around like they have, and the money doesn't really exist. It's just a number. Anyone who's joining us, I hope you write in the chat and give me some kind of comments, or take us in another direction. Give me what you believe is going on. So this Basel III is going to be a requirement. Is that why some of these branches are closing? And how is it going to affect the actual banks? So is this going to cause bank failures? Banks are beginning to brace for new regulation, new policies. And this was said in The Guardian, which is a mainstream media outlet. So let's start to imagine this. Hey, Bob Harding, you had to, there you go. You had to drive over 30 miles. Well, you know what? What I did was, I know I just listed the actual uh, the actual banks and how many. I didn't list what cities and states because then I would have been speaking about that for a full hour. I wouldn't have gotten onto any of the other topics, but I was curious about where I live. Are any of the branches closing where I live? And sure enough, the next town over, there's 3 bank branches, not the same bank, not the same bank. I think one was a Wells Fargo, one was a Chase. They're closing. So I'm very curious to see what happens. Are we about to undergo this new quantum financial system? Now, I heard through some of these niche news media sources online, I read, I should say, not heard, no one told me, I read it, and they spoke about phones from Japan. Are we going to receive these quantum phones from Japan? And was it Sprint? Sharp was the name of the phone, a Sharp phone. Is this a myth? Is this made up? A wives' tale? I don't know, but I'm going to say it because it's kind of fascinating for us to imagine it. Isn't it fascinating? It's like we're living in a sci-fi movie. All of the things that we grew up watching in sci-fi, are they real? Are there ways for us to fly through the air in a vehicle, anti-gravity vehicle? Are there trains underneath the earth moving faster than the speed of light? And is there some kind of quantum computer, quantum computing, that's a supercomputer that we are going to be able to see all transactions online and no one can have any of this I want to say money laundering, any of these criminal acts, and we don't know what's going on, will no longer be allowed. So are we about to undergo a quantum financial system and the banks are going to collapse and the medical is going to collapse because we're going to have med beds? The Washington, the Vatican, are they all going to collapse? Has there been 650 airplane loads of gold coming from the bottom of below the Vatican or the British Crown? So the quantum financial system is based on quantum mechanics and its powerful structures. All the transactions and financial moves will be available. There's not going to be any secrecy. Nothing's going to be hidden. We're all going to see it. It's going to be on a ledger. It's going to be blockchain. And is this going to be connected to the Starlink system? I don't know. Now, with that, are we going to undergo some kind of blackout? And I don't mean blackout where our lights go out. I mean a blackout with technology, with our computers, with the internet. And then we're going to see this EBS system come on, and we're going to be hearing a national alert go off and tell us we must stay in our homes and we have to watch these documentaries and this is what's really happened. And I'm not mocking it. I'm just saying it in a way that I'm really kind of curious to see, is this going to happen? Because I've been hearing whispers of this. And there are these truthers and there's the Q drops and these podcasts. Now, I don't think that there is someone out there that's going to save us. I always say you have to save yourself. You have strength within you. And that's what I really want to share with you today. I want to remind you how powerful you really are. And how are you going to attain this power? Well, I'm not talking about when you go to the gym, and I am a gym goer. I'm not talking about the strength that you have maybe in your muscles. I'm talking about the power that you have within your spirit. And if you are not connected to your inner spirit, you cannot find it. But you are capable of locating it by activating your inner life. And how are you going to do that? Well, we're going to do some exercises at the end of this video, and I'm going to remind you that you do have the ability to connect to your clairsenses. You have a knowing that's within you, and you have to accept it. You can't say, oh no, that's impossible. Well, guess what? You're not going to have any of these experiences. You are not going to activate your original blueprint. That's yours, your DNA blueprint. And none of us have the same abilities and strengths. But when you start to connect and you activate this and you start to ascend to a higher consciousness, all bets are off. I can't be sure exactly what's going to happen to you, but I do know it's going to be a mystical experience, and it's exciting and fun. And sometimes it's really torturous, and you suffer because you go through every single dark moment in your life, whether you want to or not, and you have to embrace it, and you have to accept it, and you have to bring all the duality within you, all the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then as you do that, you're going to ascend to a higher consciousness. Okay, so this quantum financial system, are we going to have some kind of global blackout and the EBS system is going to come on, the emergency alert system? Maybe. And what will happen exactly? Well, it's actually the beginning, if not the end, of dismantling the cabal, the deep state cabal. And who is involved in the deep state cabal? Well, the Vatican, DC, the monarch, and authorities that have been over humanity. So is a flip going to be switched? And all of these bloodlines, like the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Morgans, the Warburgs, Lazard, Moses, Israel, Seth, Judeo-Masonry, Judeo-Satanism, the Bilderberg Group, Illuminati, Con Loeb, and you know I butcher words, so I apologize. Lehman Brothers, Goldman Sachs, Black Nobles, the Vatican. So are all of these going down? I believe so. I believe so. And you know why? Is because every night that I have some kind of, I guess you could say, cosmic dream, and these dreams are otherworldly for sure. And yes, maybe I've tapped a lot into my psychic abilities, and maybe I've been practicing more than most. But what I can say is that it's actually enabling me to learn more about what's going out into the physical reality. Maybe like I'll have some remote viewing, I'll have some dreams. Like the other night, I had this lucid dream, and it was about the military and brainwashing. And I went into this classroom and I was watching. Ooh, we've got some comments here. The gym definitely opens light. Yes, the banking system has been over leveraged for too long and needs. Well, yes, I agree with you. I have to drive over there. And now I lost my train of thought. That's okay. I can't remember where I was at, so I'll move on from that. My memory will kind of be jiggled up. Okay, so here's a little chart of the financial system. Are we going to be backed by silver and gold? I hear a lot about, what do I hear a lot about? I hear a lot about XRP. I hear about Stellar blockchain and the dinar, the dong, the zim. I don't know. And I'm not saying go out and spend any of your money on this. I am just sharing with you information that I've uncovered because I've gone down the rabbit hole. I'm all about going down the rabbit hole. You know that I only believe what I can see from my own eyes, and everything else is basically research and kind of throwing out there what I believe to be relevant information right now. Okay, so let's move on from the crashing of the banking system. And let's get on to Thieves of the Galaxy, because we do have to do some psychic phenomenon tonight, don't we? Anyone who's joining us, I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Okay, so who are the Thieves of the Galaxy? Who am I talking about? Well, more and more I'm wondering, I'm curious, I'm very curious, because I do have some of these lucid dreams, and I've shared with you that I have had communications. I am a contactee. And some of them, extraterrestrials, are are I would say evil. They're malevolent, and some are benevolent. Some are positive. Most lately, I've been only having, and very rare actually, kind of stopped for me, more positive experiences. But when I say the Thieves of the Galaxy, I know there's some of these superhero movies, and they have these galaxy movies, and they're traveling in some kind of spaceship through all the different solar systems. Now, what is a thief exactly? Well, a thief is actually a criminal, isn't it? It's someone who's stealing from someone else. It's the act of a thief. It's maybe someone who is a robber or commits thievery, stealing by absconding with someone's possessions. And we could also call them maybe a crook, maybe someone who's a prowler is a thief. And our galaxy is the system of stars, the solar systems. And actually, a galaxy is matter found throughout the universe held together by interstellar gas, dust, and dark matter. So, are there thieves traveling through off planet, through our galaxy, going planet to planet, stealing from the planets? And have we actually had some thieves hitting our planet? And we're talking about possibly hundreds of thousands of years ago. Now, I've spoken about the Anunnaki before, the Anunnaki extraterrestrials, and whether or not were they gods, the Anunnaki. And were the Anunnaki giants? Were they some kind of extraterrestrial? And did they come to this planet because Anunnaki love the gold? And have they been using us, the humans here, and did they make some kind of agreement with other humans to take from us? Now, we can say there's thieves of the galaxy or thieves of our planet Earth, and those are those out there who are stealing from our planet, who are ruining our waters, who are ruining our natural resources for themselves. And maybe there are those entrepreneurs or members of the elite cabal who travel through the air on a jet. And they are using our airspace for their jets. And those are the ones who are always saying, let's worry about the environment. And they're destroying our environment. And they might say, you have to buy more. We're not getting enough of our economy in place. Our economy is failing. And what happens when you have a rising economy? You have to use more and more factories, and you have to use more and more of our world's energy. So is that really a good thing? Don't we have enough stuff already? Can't you do with less possessions? Do you need to have 60 pairs of shoes or 100 shirts or 50 cars? Exactly what I'm saying is that why don't we try to think beyond ourselves? And I'm not talking about using an electric car, because I spoke to a friend the other day, personal story, and she traveled to her mother's for the holiday. And they ran out of battery for their electric car, and they almost were stuck 3 hours away. And they had to travel, I don't know how many, it was 40 minutes to get to a place to charge their car. So I don't know if I'm somebody who believes in the electric cars. I'm not saying that. I believe in anti-gravity devices. I believe in free energy, Nikola Tesla invented. And I think we actually have that capability. Okay, so back to Thieves of the Galaxy. So these star systems, have they been stolen from? Energy, precious metals, gold, silver, rare materials, like chemical elements, copper, platinum, water, earth, air, humans. Have humans been stolen from? Have they been? Well, we know there's human trafficking. I've spoken about that, and child trafficking. Are there thieves of the galaxy stealing humans? Men, women, animals, mammals, our population, living things exactly. The mortals I'm speaking about. And why? Because of our DNA. Bob Harding. Thieves and liars, one steal. Yes. Yes. And you know what's so interesting is that I've experienced recently someone who was dishonest and how it affected me. It's like I can't even be around this person because it just drives me crazy because I sense so much and I just don't know what to believe. I can't even imagine if I was around one of the elite cabal. I probably couldn't even be in the same room. I watched this video on, I guess it was, I'm on Instagram, and this girl was talking about how lucky she was that she had been used, human trafficked by this man, and he used her for sex for 2 years. And she said how lucky she was because where she came from, there's girls that are taken and they are killed for their organs. And I thought, wow, that's the choice she has, to be used for sex or to be killed for organs. And don't think that this is impossible. This is happening. So mortals, we are made from water, protein, fats, carbohydrates, DNA tissue, connective tissues, bones, cells, and flesh, and we are used. So why am I bringing this up? Because I want to bring awareness, and maybe you can say, okay, that's a farce, Mary, that there are extraterrestrials traveling from planet to planet using the resources of the planet. But you have to admit that it's a possibility that there are people and children that are being human trafficked. All right, so let's get on to the laws of the universe, because this is like a lot of dark stuff today, and I'm already at 32 minutes. So the laws of the universe, it's pretty exciting, the laws of the universe, because if you know the laws of the universe, it can help you to make better decisions. Now, one key law of the universe that I know about is that if you don't give your permission, then the individual is not allowed to take from you. And they are breaking the laws of the universe and basically giving themselves bad karma. And what I mean by this is that if someone doesn't tell you what they're doing and they commit a criminal act against you, then they are breaking the actual laws of the universe, the law. Now, if they share with you the truth and you go ahead with it and you agree with them and you let this happen, then you're giving away your power. So just know that if you share the truth and someone accepts it, they're giving you their permission and you're off the hook. All right, so the first law of the universe is the principle of mentalism. And what exactly is that? That is, your thoughts shape your reality. And like I said when I started this tonight, and I say at the beginning of every single live that I do, I always say, your thoughts are very powerful. You will shape your reality. Now, maybe in this moment, you're not shaping it, but in the future, you will. So together, right now, let's do a little exercise. Because if we don't practice, we're not going to make any changes. So I always stick a little exercise here and there in a live. And then that way, without you realizing, you're stretching yourself. You're stretching your senses. We all have information that is coming to us from outside sources. And we have a knowing. It's whether or not we're open and we've expanded ourselves enough to be aware of it. And maybe you might say, oh, it doesn't mean anything. I saw a mental picture, but it was nothing. Or I heard something and it wasn't really in this reality right here. It was coming from somewhere else. But I think I'm going a little crazy. You're not. You have these natural abilities that you just have to activate and accept. Now, I say the number one step to expanding your clear senses, to become telepathic, to be clairvoyant, clairsestinent, clairaudience, claircognizance, is by pushing away doubt, having self-confidence, and a willingness to accept whatever comes to you. Now, the more that you accept, then the more will happen. Now, you might start to have experiences and say, I can't take it. It's too strange and weird. I don't want to know. I can't do it. I'm not ready for this. And you might need to take a break. And that's fine. That's happened to me. I've shared with you in the past, way back when I started going to healing fairs and I started working as a clairvoyant and intuitive, because I became certified as an intuitive wisdom coach. Now, what I knew back then was nothing compared to what I know now. And that was back in 2015. And I did have natural abilities. I could basically meet someone from the time I was a child, because I had some near-death experiences, and I think I crossed over. I saw angels and I saw light, and I had a deep connection. I've had a deep connection to God and Jesus Christ, and I felt something that I thought everyone else felt, but they didn't. So from the time I was a small child, I would meet someone, and immediately I would know how I could gain to be liked by this person. I knew exactly how to shape my personality to be liked by somebody, because I knew who they were from the moment they spoke to me. So together, let's try to do a little exercise right now. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to close your eyes. Now you can, these are all suggestions. You can keep your eyes open if you'd like. I'd like you to let go of a breath. Just let go of a breath. Now we all have long days. If you're out in the matrix, you're working out there, maybe a 9 to 5 or more than that, maybe anywhere between 2 to 15 hours a day, whatever it is, or 10 hours a day or 8 hours, whatever it is for you. It takes a lot out of you. And you also sometimes get into a place where you don't know how to relax. So let's just relax our bodies. Let's maybe move our head around. Let's drop down. And I always say, like a rag doll, let go of any tension in your arms. And you're letting out a breath. And you're accepting this moment. Now, maybe just right now, take away any doubt, push away any thoughts, let out a breath, and together we're going to do some inhales and exhales. So we start to relax our body. So by the time we start doing our Claire suggestion session at the end, you'll really be relaxed. So let's do 3 inhales and exhales right now together. Maybe do it on a 5 to 7 count. So you're really trying to kind of hold it. So you're inhaling 5 to 7, holding at 5 to 7, exhaling 5 to 7. Okay, second inhale. Okay, so it's really important that we focus on our breath. Anytime we're trying to tune into ourselves, it's mostly about realizing your senses. And what I mean is what you're hearing, what you're feeling, what you're seeing. So I'd like you right now, I'd like you to tune into your heart. And when I say tune into your heart, I mean try to get as close as you can to what you're feeling. And ask yourself, how am I feeling? And hopefully it's one word, one emotion that you're feeling. Maybe it's a sentence. And it might be difficult at first to try to get to this because we have layers and layers above this. And you might feel as though you have stress or you have anxiety or you can't just be calm. Also, let me remind you to put all your weight in your bottom and imagine the base of your spine going deeply into the earth. And also remind yourself to have gratitude, and here you are in this moment. Okay, so here we are in this moment. I'm feeling as though all my weight's in my bottom. I'm asking my heart, how do I feel? And so for me, it came back really fast. I'm glad, and I'm glad to be here. And I'm reminding you that you're a beautiful being of light. You're a worthy being of light. It doesn't matter where you live, what you look like, what you do, or what you have. You're worthy as is. Now, I'm somebody, some of my issues, some of my trauma stems from abandonment. And I've shared that with you. And I've also had issues with self-worth. I'm not afraid to say it. That's my truth. And so our self-worth can really affect our self-love and how we feel about ourselves. So we want to say maybe I am worthy. I love myself. I accept myself. Maybe you want to start out with I am and follow it with I am something. So back to your thoughts shape your reality. So if we are connected to our heart, and we're connected to our inner life, we will have a better ability to start to harness the power of our mind. Okay, so your thoughts shape your reality. And let's just say, let's give ourselves each this moment here to come up with something that you would like to say to yourself to shape your reality for tomorrow. I'm going to think of something right now, because it's right here in this moment. I brought it right here in this moment. What am I going to say to myself to shape my reality for tomorrow? I'm going to say, for me, this is personal, I'm going to say that I'm going to extend my ability to have strength within myself. So I want to have more strength within myself. I'm not talking about going to the gym. I'm talking about my inner power, my inner life. All right, so let's move on. Bob Harding, what are you saying? Oh, you did. Eesh. Wait, I ran into a trafficking situation in the New York State Farm. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's horrible. It's horrible. Okay, so the second law of nature is the principle of correspondence. Many places of existence, lower and higher frequencies, are connected. And what does that mean exactly? That means that if someone is coming from a place from a lower vibration, and I'm talking about lower vibration, lower frequency, they might be someone that is living in a place of anger or pain or shame or fear. There is the ability to correspond with them. You can exchange energies with them. You have the capability, whether you realize it or not, you can send positive light, positive energy, positive frequency and vibration to others through your words, through your actions, and through just the way you think, the way you feel. And what I mean by that is, have you ever been in a situation that you can tell right away that someone's sending you something negative or someone's sending you something positive through their thoughts, through their energy? That's exactly what I'm referring to. Okay, the principle of vibration, the law of vibration. All things matter, energy carry a vibration. You carry a vibration. Your words carry a vibration. Your thoughts carry a vibration. Every thought that we have can get passed to someone else through emotion, feeling, vibration. It carries a charged impulse. That's why if you think of someone, maybe they'll call you up, maybe they'll text you. If you're clear, if you've engaged with all the parts of you, we're talking about the negative and the positive and all of that stuff. The more clear you get, then the more ability you have to manifest and send thoughts to others. So our emotions give off a vibration. Okay, principle of polarity. Opposite things are actually one and the same, varying degrees. Everything has dual everything. Everything has poles. Everything has pairs and opposites. And like and unlike are the same. Physical matter and spiritual energy are the same thing, with spiritual energy vibrating at a much higher level, and it can't be perceived by our senses. I like to remind myself, and I like to remind you, that just because we can't see it in the physical reality, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Now I can remember what I was going to say earlier. I had started going to these healing fairs in 2015. And at the time, I started learning all about my psychic abilities, my clairvoyance, I should say. And one of the things that I said I didn't want to do was I didn't want spirits to contact me. It freaked me out. And I thought, okay, I'm closing off that channel. I don't want to be a medium because it was too much for me. And I don't want to communicate with spirits. I don't know where they're coming from. It might be dark stuff. But what happened there was, the problem with that is, as soon as you shut one side of yourself down, then you shut other parts of you down. So even if things seem to get a little bit too much for you, if you start to receive different images or mental pictures or voices, or you're learn to be a channel or whatever it is, just know when you start to shut different portals within you, different channels within you, you block yourself. Okay, I just wanted to say that. All right, so everything out here in the physical reality is seen with our eyes, right? But just because we can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. For example, like, you might not realize that there are an angel around you. And here's my opportunity to bring up angels. Angels are beings of light. They come from the heavens to earth. They're here to protect humanity. There's 9 ranks of angels. This looks like an archangel, and archangels are here to protect us. And they're warriors and they're messengers, and they might perform some kind of divine intervention, a miracle, which is an extraordinary event not understood or explained by natural or scientific laws, attributed to supernatural beings. Now, from the time I was a little girl, I believed in angels. And I'm not quite sure if it's because I saw angels as a child, and as I've learned more recently in the last 10 years, that they truly exist, because I can see through my third eye, my mind's eye, my third eye chakra, the angelic realm. And when I had my first real awakening, I saw the inside of a tower, and it went up to infinity. And there were shelves of angels. I've mentioned this before, like little shelves of angels, just hundreds upon thousands of angels. And everything was very ornate, and it felt very powerful and very detailed. It almost looked like light was coming off of every single element that I saw. And from that time forward, I've had more experiences with angels. Now here are the 9 ranks of angels. Okay, seraphim, cherubim, thrones, dominions, powers, virtues, principalities, archangels, and guardian angels. Now they say we have at least 2 guardian angels with us from the time we're born, and they're here to protect us. Now you can call out to angels and say, like, help, I need help, take care of me. I need to be carried through an emotional situation or something that I'm suffering in. And the more that you accept some of these mystical experiences, real life phenomenon, otherworldly, then the more they're going to happen to you. Okay, and we're almost done with these, and then we're going to get on to ESP. We're going to get on to ESP. Here's another example, the laws. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. So the principle of rhythm, or the law of rhythm, they say, which is everything will rise and fall between the opposing poles. There exists an inherent rhythm. The tides move in and out, natural rhythms, like waves when they come up on a beach, the ebb and flow. There's everything goes up and down, up and down. And it swings, doesn't it? Don't you experience that things swing? There's a pattern. And I've more recently learned to go with the flow. And sometimes I hate it, and sometimes I fight the going with the flow. But I think it's a good idea to go with the flow, because we don't really know exactly how things are going to be the best for us. We can manifest, we can say right here in this moment, this is what I want. This is my destiny, and I want it right here. And I want to see it. And let's try to do that right now. Okay. So we've already kind of let go of any tension within us. We focused on our breath. We've let anything that's holding us back in our bodies go. We've dropped down. We've pushed away any negativity, any doubt. And so right now, let's try to imagine right before us our destiny in this moment. Because I always say, we can't worry about what happened before this moment, and it doesn't matter in front of us. We can create our destiny right here in this moment, because this is where all the energy lies, in this moment. We want to shed light on our destiny. What exactly is it that you want? So I'd like you to imagine it right here, put it out in your hands right here. If you could see it, what does it look like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? What does it feel like? What's the environment of it? Now, maybe it's a material thing. Maybe you're like, oh my gosh, like I always give the example, this shiny yellow sports car with black interior. So I'm going to imagine, what does it smell like? What does it look like? What does it feel like? Now, if it's something like you want a relationship, we don't try to manifest a particular person. We take away the idea of what they look like or the name of someone. We're just looking for, how would you like to be treated? So you imagine yourself and maybe someone reaching out their hand, or they're hugging you, and maybe it's a feeling that you have. Now, if you can feel joy when we are trying right here in this moment to create our destiny, then you can attain it. Now, if you don't feel joy, that means you're blocking it. Maybe you've said, ha ha ha, I can't have that. Or someone has said to you, come on, you can't have that. But all of that aside, let's try to create it right here in this moment. I'm going to create it too with mine. So it would be like anything that you can imagine. What are the colors of it? What does it look like? What are the characteristics? Maybe it's a trip. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's some kind of change within you. Maybe it's a certain career that you would like. So I'm going to manifest mine. I'm going to just see it right here before me, whatever it is that I want. Maybe it's easier if you close your eyes. I'm having a hard time visualizing with my eyes open. Okay, so I saw it was very clear for me. Okay, let's get on to ESP, extrasensory perception, because we're almost at the 1 hour mark. And Yolanda. How come I have not heard of you, Yolanda? Have you been here before? Wow, black leather book with gold color and words and smooth paper. Beautiful. So is this a premonition or is this something that you want? Fascinating. Thank you for sharing that. No, just visiting. Interesting. Wow. Okay. Nope. I have to finish this. I just realized I'm getting off the track. Tonight's night for getting off the track. Okay. Principle of cause and effect. And for each cause of one thing is merely the effect of something else, and everything happens according to law. I want to remind you that you can change the outcome by your thoughts. And what I mean by that is, if you have a flash of a sensation of something, let's say, for example, it's an idea that crosses your mind. And the idea is let's say new drapes, new window covers. I know it's so random. I'm just looking at my window. New window covers. You can either grab that idea that came into your mind, or you can let it go. And by cause and effect, I mean you grab it and you say, okay, I'll get some new drapes, new window covers. Or you can say, no. You can do that with anything. Every single flash of information that comes into your system, into your being, it feels like a physical sensation, means that it's meant for you. You're carrying a frequency, a vibration, a vibrational frequency that means that you are capable of achieving whatever comes into you. So let's say it's taking a trip to Italy. That's all of a sudden you have this idea, trip to Italy. You can, that means you're capable of taking the trip. You can grab that thought and you can move forward with it. So just know it. The principle of gender is the last one. Everything has masculine and feminine properties. Masculine and feminine energy exists in everything. There are these two characteristics are essential for creation, balance of both. So each of us have feminine and masculine qualities, don't they? And that's how you achieve balance. Yolanda once had a manifested back. Yes, you can manifest it back. You can do anything you want. Anything is possible. Okay. Look at this. I forgot to hold this up today, and I printed it out. You know I love having a visual. And I printed it out. And what was this for? This was all about when I said thieves of the galaxy. Have they been stealing us? Have there been thieves taking our DNA? Possibly. All right. So what is ESP? ESP is extrasensory perception. And it's an ability beyond, it's a knowing, it's a sixth sense. It's something beyond what we've been taught. And so we're taking away and we're pushing away all of that school and all of those thoughts that we had that we weren't capable of this. And it's because we were told either that's ridiculous, that's crazy, that's impossible. No one can really do that. But you can. You're capable of it. And maybe you're capable of telepathy. Maybe you're capable of channeling, mediumship. And here's a little chart. I always hold this up because for those of you who are new, it gives a little description of each. And that might help you decipher what you are capable of. Now, we don't have a choice, sorry to say, what our abilities are. It's something that will come natural to you. And we can't change it. We have to just accept it. So let's say, for example, you are capable of picking up someone's possession and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I don't want to hold that because I've got all this information. That's psychometry. That means that you're capable of realizing and knowing the mysteries of someone, what their likes and dislikes are, where they live, what do they look like. You have that ability. It's not a choice. I can't say that so far that's something that I'm capable of doing, although I haven't practiced it. Every single one of these clear senses, unless you're from a family that nurtured you into being a psychic, or maybe you're a writer, or you've been using your imagination. Most of the time, we haven't been practicing this, but you are capable of it. So my suggestion to you is accept whatever gifts that you have. Now, we always have at least one that we can master, and maybe you can master all of them if you practice enough. It might just come naturally to you. Maybe you're someone who has premonition dreams and you know exactly what's going to happen before it happens. Maybe you come from a family of gypsies. So together, let's practice this right now. So what exactly is precognition? It's potential created in the line of time, cause and effect. Your mind can travel backwards and forwards at will. Maybe that's one of your gifts. New causations are produced. A higher dimension of time is available, mental image or feeling or impression of future possibility. We will receive impressions when we're practicing our clairsenses. An impression is going to come in the form of maybe a mental picture, a voice. Maybe you'll smell something, maybe you'll taste something, maybe you'll see words, or you will see the past, present, or the future. You might hear a spirit, you might see a spirit, or some kind of angel, an angelic being. Everyone's going to be different. Maybe someone will come from your past and tell you something, or from your future. It's kind of exciting. It's like you're on an adventure and you don't know what's going to happen. And again, the best thing you can do, and the first step is always going to be to accept, to have a willingness, a self-confidence, push away any doubt. You're not going to have any proof. It's not going to be tangible. It's not going to be like a piece of paper or a pen. Maybe someone will say, oh my gosh, you know exactly who I am, because you give them a reading. But most of the time, you just have to accept it, and you have to say, yeah, it's possible. All right, so we are going to tune in right now. We are going to do some tuning in. I cannot control the things I can't change. I'll just reprogram the scenario. Yes, I agree with you, Yolanda. So you might have a hunch about something, and it's an indication of a future event, which means that you will vividly see a situation. Maybe it's a place or a circumstance, and it'll feel like a gut feeling. You'll feel as though you have a knowing. You will know. And that's exactly what ESP is. That's what your psychic phenomenon is. You have a knowing, and it's coming from an outside source. None of this information is given to you, like in a book or on a piece of paper, or someone's texting you or saying it to your face. It's coming from an outside source, and your physical vessel, your internal spirit, is collecting the information. My suggestion is to accept it. All right, so let's do some psychic phenomenon, because we hit the 1 hour mark, and I know you're waiting for it. So tonight we've covered big bank closures. Are we about to hit a new financial system? Is it going to be the quantum financial system? Crossing my fingers, I hope so. Are there thieves of the galaxy? Are there thieves of the galaxy, and are they affecting humans? And we've got onto the laws of nature. And I always want to remind you, the law, I would say the number one takeaway from the laws of nature is You really can't get away with anything because nature knows it's karmic. And if you do something against another being, and I say being of light, another being because you're a being of light, you do something to hurt someone else intentionally, that's against the laws of nature. I would say the best thing you could do is to start to have as much self-love as you can, and then you're able to give compassion and forgiveness to others out there in the physical reality. And it's like a chain event, because when you give love to others, then it changes their form, changes their energy, and then they in turn change someone else's energy. And that's how we're all going to come together, and we're all going to be living in the light. All right, so I'd like everyone to let go of any tension that they have. And let me remind you to have gratitude for this moment, and let's ground ourselves. We imagine our feet going into the earth, wiggling our toes. We're imagining the base of our spine, the base of our root chakra, to be going down into the earth as well. And that's how we ground ourselves, to remind ourselves of where we are. Here I am. Yes, I have some gemstones right here, as you can see, which are very positive. Now, I don't know if you've activated your clair senses. I don't know if you've been practicing your clairaudience, which is hearing beyond the walls of the room. Have you been practicing and opening up your clairvoyance? You can ask for it to happen. You can tap. You can take your finger and circle it. You can imagine beams of light. So maybe right now, see, I usually get some kind of intuitive direction to go. And I just heard, let's open up your clair senses, your clairvoyance right here. So we let out a breath. Maybe you need to speak it out. You want to push back any doubts. You can do this, any fear, any thoughts, because we are only tuning into our senses. Our senses, our hearing, our seeing, our feeling, our touch, and everything that comes naturally to us. So right now, I'd like you to imagine a beam of light coming down on you from the heavens. And this beam of light is probably the size of a quarter, and it's landing right here between your two brows. And I'd like you to imagine this beam of light, and it's hitting you right here between your two brows. So you're closing your eyes, and you're imagining this beam of light coming down, and it could be like a whitish color light. And you're imagining that this beam of light is going into you, and it's like a doorway. And this doorway is open. It's opening inside of you, and it's opening out here in the outer world. So basically, it's the possibility, it's a gateway, it's a portal to another reality, to another dimension, another realm. I'd like you to imagine that right now. Now, either for you, I'm going to be quiet, and I'd like you to imagine yourself, and maybe everything's going to be entirely up to you. I'm giving suggestions. You're going to have a different experience than I do, and that's entirely appropriate. It's whatever happens for you is right for you. Remind yourself of that. There's no have-tos here. So you're imagining this beam of light coming down the size of a quarter, and it's moving inward. It's a doorway, it's a portal, and outward. So it's completely open right here. And I'm going to be quiet, and let's see, are you traveling? Are you moving? Are you this big, moving in and out? What are you seeing? Where are you going? And I'm going to be quiet, and let's see what kind of experience you have. Okay, so I'm going to share what happened to me. Now, I always take things one step further. When I have kind of figured something out, I keep moving to see if there's something else that's a possibility. So for me, what I literally saw, I guess that my third eye is very open, because what I saw was myself standing, and this beam of light was coming from the heavens, and it was just so bright that I couldn't move forward towards it. So I thought, is this the only part of the experience I'm supposed to have? And it was just, I said, okay, I'll stand in this light. And then I turned around and walked towards me, my vessel. And I imagined all the light channeling down into me throughout my whole body, because bring more light within me. And then I also saw the light here, the hole right here, the third eye, expand to completely cover me with light. You can take everything a step further. I just give suggestions, entirely up to you. And if anyone has a kind of experience that they had, self-love is very powerful. Thank you, Yolanda, for your comments. Exactly. Self-love is really about taking care of yourself and accepting yourself. And this is for me, what I believe. Self-love is about admitting all of your faults, because we're not perfect. None of us are perfect. And even the things that we're shameful of, and maybe they stem back from trauma or something within us from when we're a child, and just looking at it, accepting it, not dwelling, but accepting it and just basically embracing it. That's what I believe. Okay, let's try one more. Let's try one more exercise before we go. Okay, so everyone, I'd like you again to drop down into your physical vessel. We're having concentration and focus. We're letting out a breath. We're letting any tension travel through our arms. Taking an inhale, we're taking an exhale. We're letting go of anything before this moment and ahead of us. And we're in this moment right now. So I'd like you to right now, because I really want to continue to practice all of our clear senses, I'd like you to tune into your hearing beyond the walls of the room. And this is your clair audience. So you're listening beyond the walls of the room. Now, if you're doing this outside of this exercise, outside of this video, I suggest you turn off all your electronics and you just go into a quiet space, sit or lay down, and just listen. Now, for me to start with, what do I say? You listen right here in the room that you're in, wherever you're dwelling right now. And then you want to stretch your senses beyond the walls of the room. Now, if you believe and if you observe, hey, none of this is working, I'm not having an experience. All of this takes practice. And as you stretch yourself, you're going to begin to have experiences outside of the time that we spend together. It might be while you're sleeping, all of a sudden you wake up and you have this very vivid dream. Maybe it's going to be tomorrow while you're driving your car somewhere, and all of a sudden a flash of information is going to come. It's going to say, go right, go left. Or you're going to remember something that happened to you in the past that you had forgotten. It's going to take on a life of its own. All right, so let's tune into our hearing right now, and I'm going to give a suggestion. All right, so I'm going to let go of any tension, dropping down into my physical vessel, pushing away any doubt, and reminding myself that I might not have any physical proof, but I'm going to have some kind of impression that's within me. Maybe I'm going to hear a voice or a story. And if this doesn't work, if you're not receiving any information you're hearing, then try a different clairsense. Try your feeling, try your clairvoyance, sense of touch, smell, taste. Just give the suggestion and see what happens. I'm going to practice with my clairaudience, my hearing. Okay, so the suggestion is going to be, when was the last time that someone did something and you didn't give permission? The last time that you had an experience that someone did something to you without giving permission. Okay, so instantly I received information. I'm not going to get into details because it's personal, but I can say that I saw myself, first I heard myself crying. And I'm rubbing my hand because it upsets me. Oh, Bob Harding, what do you say? Start a session of meditation. I feel all the weight of the pressure. Oh, really? Interesting. I had an experience. I heard myself crying. Then I literally saw myself crying. I felt myself, the pain of that moment. And it was very vivid. It's still stuck with me. And I guess I brought this up tonight, this suggestion, so we can release whatever it is. And I don't think there's anything wrong with crying. It's a way of releasing. So I'm going to say that I did not give permission, and someone did something that hurt my feelings and actually hurt me. So for me, that's what it was. And I remember it. And now I'm going to let it go. And maybe it will unblock me in some way. When we have memories, it unblocks us from actually reaching our destiny. Okay, so before we go, let's do a bowl of light because we passed the 1 hour and 15-minute mark. So I'm rubbing my hands together and we are creating a bowl of light. And a bowl of light is a bowl of energy. So we take our hands apart and hopefully you feel some tingling on your palms. Now, if you can, you want to cup your hands and you want to take this ball of light and you want to bring it around your physical being. If you want, you can imagine yourself in the ball of light, next to the ball of light. You can use this actually as some kind of teleportation device. Maybe it's going to have you connect to another being. There's a lot of possibilities with a ball of light because it is energy. Now, for me, I like to do this because I usually it has some kind of impact on me the very next day. Within 24 hours, it's cleared something. Okay. And that is it. Maybe you can imagine you can open up your third eye like we did earlier. And with the third eye, you can see something by holding the ball of light. And I'm seeing actually some kind of mystical creature, mythical, not mystical. It's like I see this, it's not a unicorn. It's one of those mythical creatures, and then there's some kind of dwarf next to it. So I don't know where I channeled myself into. Where did I go? What dimension? Okay, so that's it. I'm rubbing my hands together. We're closing that up. Standing in a Catholic church where I work and I was raised. My hands are in the air. There you go. You let it go. Good job. All right, so everybody, I am so happy that you joined me this evening. I will be back. I am very excited about these telepathy videos, the basics of telepathy, which will be on Roku, and I'll give you more information as soon as it's as soon as it's been I guess put out to the public, I should say. You can always find me on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. Of course, the YouTube channel. If you want to get one of my books, they're on Amazon. It's under Mary Amy. I have a dream journal. You can put your descriptions of your dreams, your sleeping dreams. And I also have a book called The White Light Prophecies, which I did under another name, Blue Butterfly. Okay, everyone. So I'm spinning light, and you're in the center of it, and you're making a wish. And so I'm imagining this band of light, and it's circling you, and we're spinning it 1, 2, 3 times. This beautiful band of light, this beautiful band of energy, and it's bringing you to your most humongous goals. And you're in the center of this ball of light. I mean, this band of light. And I'm spinning light around you, and I want good things for you. And I hope you have a wonderful week. And I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And we're entering the month of December. So everyone be well. Bye. Hope you liked the video and subscribe to the channel.